Good morning, everyone. This is Matt. I'm co-founder and CSO at SynFutures. Today, I'm not going to take too much time because the stage is open for four famous guests, maybe from GM and then the way to Ryan Kim. Can everyone please give a quick intro about yourself and the institution? Thanks.
Sure. Hey, everyone. My name is GM, currently a partner at Dragonfly. Dragonfly, we're a crypto-focused venture fund. We currently manage just over north of $4 billion in asset under management. Myself, mostly on all of our infrastructure investments, and so led our seed investments into Monad, MegaETH, Kaito, a couple of AI investments that's yet to be announced, but I'm very happy to chat about those.
Hello, Momir here from IOSG Ventures. I've been with IOSG since early 2020, so now about 5 years, and IOSG is a crypto investment firm operating since 2017. We did a lot of investments also across infra application, especially DeFi. SynFutures is one of our portfolios, and yeah, thanks for organizing and thanks for inviting us.
I'm Ryan from HashKey Capital. It's okay, I think that's speak louder. And HashKey, it's a venture capital investing exclusively in blockchain since 2015. And we were the earliest, first institutional investor to Ethereum back to 2015. So I joined HashKey Capital. Actually, we established HashKey Capital at year of 2018 under the new name of HashKey. So now with over 400 portfolios under active management, and the total assets is around $1 billion USD.
Hello, my name is Ryan, one of the co-founder in Hash. Hash started from 2016. It's known like there's a kimchi premium in 2017, so we made a very good crypto community in Korea, still now one of the best market in the world. And we have been investing to crypto since 2017, 16, and so far we invested over 200 portfolio. Still we are focusing on the primary market. We like to work with founders and good community. We always enjoy the journey with hold the procedure of making good product here and there. Now we have an office in Western and Eastern, like San Francisco, Korea, Singapore. I'm based in Singapore now, and now we are opening up our office in Abu Dhabi. And we are very specialized for the consumer product, gaming, and contents IP. Of course, we invest in DeFi and infrastructure, but eventually we believe consumer product will be the future. So we'll keep investing in that area.
Thank you. Then let's jump into the panel. Oh, it's working. Okay. So the first question is, we've seen so many AI and crypto projects emerging these days, right? I'm sure everyone can name at least 10 or even more. And from the views of our dear panelists, which area would you see are underrated versus overhyped? Maybe we start again with GM.
So in terms of, I would probably start with overhyped. And I think if you look at what happened in the markets, a month ago, when Trump launched, obviously that siphoned a lot of liquidity out of the market. And what that should tell you is a lot of siphoned out the liquidity from the AI agent tokens specifically, right? And so what that should tell you is that clearly it's a very tempered demand in terms of those tokens. And realistically, if you look at what those tokens are, obviously at one point it captured a lot of the market's excitement, but fundamentally it's basically tokens that can show themselves in the form of agents or agent hooked up to a Twitter account. And so I think what the market is now telling us is that that is clearly something not as exciting anymore, and people are looking to get more out of what's possible. So I think what clearly shown to us is that perhaps was overrated a month ago. And when it comes to like what's underrated, I think the clear trend line like in AI more broadly is, in case it hasn't been clear before, post the DeepSeek announcement, it's now clear as day that inference is going to be a much bigger market and also a much more accessible market for new players to enter. And in some sense, I won't go into the details, but I think broadly speaking, there are a lot of opportunities from the DeepSeek announcement that one could make this argument that inference going forward can be served by increasingly commoditized hardware, and you don't have to pay for such high-end NVIDIA chips in order to service those inference demand. And so I would say, broadly speaking, that is like underexplored or underhyped.
I guess attention is quite volatile, and when it comes to hype after Trump token listing, after DeepSeek announcement, like the market has been brutal to a lot of AI coins, so there is not much hype today in the market in general. But yeah, the market over the last 18 months have been shifting hype like on every 2-3 months. Like we have like a new overhyped category, and I think Q1 2024 we had like a lot of hype for GPU networks, and then like that hype maybe lasted for 3 months, and then it was a period of exploration, and until we had like everything that happened with AI agents in the Q4. But then if you look into a lot of these agent tokens, I think that most of the teams behind these agent tokens 6 months ago, 8 months ago, haven't even thought about building AI agents. So I think like products are relatively immature, so it was natural that there would be some sort of adjustment in the market. But having said that, I think there are still teams that managed to collect a decent amount of resources to be able to build actually good product experiences in the coming months and coming year. I think there is often, or at least 1 month ago, people were often making parallel between AI agents and DeFi summer. But I think if you look into DeFi summer of 2020, the projects that succeeded at the time, like were building for 2-3 years prior to that, and now having many new startups like that started actually building these products on the agent side of things in the last 6 months. I think we also set our expectations too high in terms of the timeline where we can see actually great experiences. So there is, even though like AI led probably to increasing devs productivity 2 to 4x, I think it's still, the product still has its own cycle, and it's still like a discovery process. So I think that agents are still a high potential area, and it is inevitable that it will replace the way we interact with the web. So I think it is going to help. It is going to happen regardless of what the current hype or like what the current market sentiment is. So I think it was to some extent healthy correction, and now we can see who the real builders are.
Thanks, Momir. Ryan, you might want to borrow the microphone.
Yeah.
Because we have people.
People hear me? Right. Great. Right.
Yeah. So I see strong potentials in decentralized compute. So where people share their computing resources, and verifiable machine learnings, often we call it ZK/ML, which makes the results more transparent and trustworthy. And I think these address real issues like security, computing, and machine model outputs without exposing sensitive data. So it's very promising. So on the flip side, some projects seems to be riding the AI wave without offering some real substance, like simply AI-based NFT features or games that don't really solve the needs. So if there's no clear value or user demand, it's more hype than genuine innovation.
Yeah, definitely like all this AI narrative is from OpenAI, Horizon, recently DeepSeek give a huge impression to the market. And in crypto world, definitely AI meme coin give a lot of impression to the retail market. And with the meme coin hype, AI meme coin came together. But I think definitely like AI meme coin is totally different from just meme because influencer, AI can be an influencer, especially like virtual, give that vision, and everybody resonate to the vision. So that's why like it came to the value. And once like AI got a huge influence, like currently Trump or like so many influencers in Twitter, but eventually if AI keep generating content and then they optimize to get attention from the market, eventually I think that can turn out to be a value. Like, you know, currently if you see a YouTube or TikTok, they're making a revenue with advertising the product. Anyway, they're making so much value. So eventually I think that AI can make a value and that can protect to the AI meme coin. Now the value is not connected, but once they get connected, then the revenue stream can distribute it to the AI meme coin holders. Then it can be a kind of security type of token. But still, I think this is a little bit overhyped. So like it's not like $1 billion token value yet. That's definitely overrated. Underrated is like already shared a lot of insights here, but after DeFi appearance, like before all capital flow into US market, especially OpenAI, Perplexity, Cloud, and I thought like closed AI group will win over open source AI group. But I think DeepSeek showed the huge possibility that open source AI group can win over closed AI group. And once like open source AI will be very, very prevalent, then what happened? Decentralized AI infrastructure will be very, very needed because capital now, after DeepSeek appearance, now VC investment in China is very, very vibrant. Also Korea now, they're making their own AI company because now AI is very strategic asset from any country, and they don't want to share this strategic asset to any other country. For instance, like a Chinese company, they will not use US AI infrastructure because they don't want to share the data to AI, the US, and vice versa. US company will not use it, Chinese like AI infrastructure. Then eventually, like they will be very protected and very siloed and very disconnected and fragmented. That means what? If you think about like a finance, like why Bitcoin was rise, because like all finance are very sensitive and they want to make their own like internal network, and eventually they can be utilized as a kind of weapon. US like control the SWIFT and people want to get out from that sanction and everything. They'll use a Bitcoin. So with that same AI will be very, very siloed and will be very sensitive in terms of political reason. Then a decentralized AI ecosystem will be arise, and more like developers will want to build on top of this ecosystem. And so I think AI infrastructure will be a decentralized AI infrastructure will grow very, very fast in the future.
Thank you. I think I echo that, especially on the infrastructure side, there's a huge demand for decentralized AI infra, yet they're not there yet, right? So good potential. Let's move to the next question. We all know crypto technology and AI technologies were developed separately in the beginning, right? So think that they grow up in different families. One is a guy, the other is a lady. They are not getting married, right? We have to admit they were not born together, right? They have different features, they have different originations. So to make this happy marriage work, what are some challenges? You guys see, right? How to integrate these two together. Maybe this time we start with Ryan. Can we do that?
Yeah, sure. I think AI and blockchain is a perfect fit. So, AI, eventually I think AI agent is totally different from AI tool. AI agent is like kind of independent, like entity or creature. So once like, there can be a company or person, it deals as a company or person, they need a bank account. But AI cannot make a bank account, but they can make an account in the smart contract. So, and AI can work 24 hours every moment. Human cannot. So that's why bank work from 9 to 6. But blockchain operate every time. So I think AI and blockchain is a perfect fit because like this kind of like characteristic, and just know the barrier is like how like seamlessly integrated. So far, like in AI meme coin is not like well connected to like this kind of value distribution yet. So I think the middleware between that's like blockchain is kind of just finance layer for AI, but how like seamlessly AI can connect it to this value distribution, I think it's a very immature yet. So I think we need to wait for the maturation.
Thanks.
Thanks, Matt. I'm in a happy marriage and I've got 3 kids. And thank you. And I think the secret to happy marriage, I think, is happy wife, happy life. But in terms of the integration of AI and blockchain, I think one big issue is technical compatibility. So blockchain sometimes run relatively slowly and handle limited data, while AI needs fast and large-scale processing. I think another challenge is data privacy. So AI models need lots of data which can be sensitive, but putting that data on chain can be expensive or risky. And but they can prove and federated learning help. They are not still a plug-and-play solutions right now. And yeah, that's pretty much about it.
I guess like after ChatGPT, the first reaction of crypto industry to AI was to kind of push ZKML narrative. So I guess crypto talent pool is actually quite diverse and quite high quality, but we also have like sometimes this too much emphasis on decentralizing everything, and like some of these narratives are a little bit forced, and as we see in this cycle, like people don't even care that much about decentralization, they more care about product experiences. So there are like a lot of things where crypto people try to force certain decentralization aspects onto AI, and actually the market doesn't care too much. For us, we made our first investment in crypto and AI intersection back in 2022. At that time, ChatGPT was still not out there, and our insight was mostly that seeing a lot of saturation of the application layer, in a sense that there was not much degrees of freedom for developers to do interesting stuff if they are using existing primitives with smart contracts. So we started looking into what sort of other primitives we can connect to smart contracts to let developers do much more interesting stuff, how we can build like the next generation of DeFi protocols without sacrificing some of the kind of fundamental primitives. So at the time we invested in our first AI portfolio, ChainML, or now called Theoric, and we thought of them as more like building, bringing verifiable ML inference so that we can do much more interesting stuff with blockchain. And I think that this angle is still valid. They are now like more focused on agentic frameworks, but then if you go layer by layer, like you can I guess classify different projects based on how much they are actually forcing this decentralization narrative versus actually utilizing crypto to build new business models, or maybe like actually even offer better unit economics than what you could do in Web 2 So I think, for instance, on the compute side of things, like we obviously have like a big differentiation between those compute layers that are focused on training versus inference. Like training problem is much more complex, and especially if you want to do like distributed training. And if you read a lot of these white papers of many talented teams that are building in this direction, you feel like very intellectually amusing. Like these are very like sophisticated teams working on very low-level tech, very challenging problems. But then with DeepSeek moment, I guess a lot of these compute theses, especially for training, became somewhat obsolete, and now attention, I agree with GM that attention is now moving a little bit more to the inference side of things. And over here, I think it is still valid, the thesis of connecting verifiable inference to smart contracts to enable more interesting stuff without having to call centralized APIs. But yeah, like there is also this compute layer narrative where people are trying to connect to all sorts of consumer-grade hardware, and having the ability to run some of the solid models on not super sophisticated hardware. I think it's also opening up the opportunity. And on the agent layer, I think people don't care that much about like enforcing some sort of crypto narratives of decentralization. Now, like people just care about user experience. But I think there is like also attempt for crypto community to build like a sovereign AI, which is a little bit wild idea. And some people are even building marketplace for AI to hire human labor, like to do some off-chain tasks. And I think considering how many crazy ideas we had in crypto space, like in meme market, like from Nazi racist coins, like imagine if people start building sovereign AI that can hire human to do all sorts of off-chain stuff. So I think it can be like both a very crazy result, but also could be quite unique opportunity. But yeah. Data is also the last part where I feel like there are some projects that are actually unlocking new business models, but I probably took too much time for this answer, so I'll not talk about data this time.
Thanks, Momir.
Yeah, I guess Matt's question was, is there a way to make marriage work between crypto and AI? And I think with any marriage, I think the key is to understand like what your spouse actually wants, right, and what he or she actually demands. And so from that perspective, I think my view is fundamentally what crypto/tokens is really good at is bootstrapping supply, right? And we've seen, with all of these token launches that it's one of the best distribution mechanisms in terms of bootstrapping some sort of physical supply in the world, right? That could be compute, could be data, or anything that you can imagine. But most of the crypto tokens, the fundamental problem that they face is the lack of demand, right? Whereas in AI, if you think about what's the biggest issue today or bottleneck today, is clearly to service the surplus of demand. And so if you look at that from that perspective, I do believe there is an opportunity for crypto, essentially, like I think Brian mentioned, being used as a financing layer to bootstrap globally distributed supply of compute that, with the clearly decreasing cost of running models locally and running inference locally, I think it's going to be pretty clear that models are going to be, like Brian mentioned, more and more locally distributed and run in in-house, versus using cloud services. I think we could potentially see an uptick there, and yeah, I think that's potentially one of the best places where there could be a match, a happy marriage instead of a forced or arranged marriage. And so, and I would say the second thing is clearly that because they all both are internet native primitives, they naturally interact very well with each other purely from a user interface point of view. Like many of my panelists already said, having agents to use wallets and so on and so forth.
Thank you, GM. So I got it. So they grew up in different families, but they have the same value system. So it's a magical fit. The next question, I first give everyone a little bit background. I was a trader before, and then when I was doing trading, I was fast. Yeah, I was good. But then nowadays, that trading business is dominated by algos, computerized, automated trading system. No matter how fast my hand was, it wasn't as fast as computers. Now, recently, we've seen there are some AI-driven VC investment start to emerge. Right? I think I saw like an AI60Z here. Someone was wearing that hat. Yeah. Now, in the views of you guys, right, making a big VC investment in crypto, how would you see that trend? Would the AI-driven VC investment start to take more market shares from from thesis-driven investment, from handshaking, from evaluating people? How would you see that going to happen? Yeah. Maybe we start with GM.
I think fundamentally I view VC and trading as very totally separate, different animals, and fundamentally for me VC is a people's business, and the business model fundamentally is getting to know founders early, getting to bet on the founder and bet on the idea early, and getting that access. Right? And so from that perspective, if I were to imagine when or possibly could AI replace that, if we actually do reach AGI, which if you define that as AIs are going to be able to come up with more creative ideas than humans, right? Build more profitable companies or business models, then that could be a likelihood, right? But I don't think we're seeing that today yet. Now, obviously on the trading side, there's zero doubt in my mind that humans are going to be able to compete with AI.
So whether AI would replace VC business model, I think the question is how AI thinks about risk taking, because it's not about interpreting something or having deep understanding of some technology, but risk taking is at the end of the day very subjective, especially in early stage investing. It's not, there is no much data for AI to maybe quantify the view about a particular project that comes with a pitch deck, and then have the ability to meet them only by attending certain calls. So I think this is maybe part of there are certainly many aspects of VC work that AI can help increase productivity or even replace, but I think that this inherently risk-taking activity is very specific. It might not be something where at least existing models have good kind of potential, and especially being contrarian, trying to touch something in a very bad market environment and nobody wants to touch it. Usually these are the kind of open secrets about VC business, that you have to be contrarian and touch things that nobody wants to touch in order to make a big return. If you look into, I think maybe this year Multicoin has had a great performance. It's hard to build AI agents to replace Kyle, right? Someone who's having very high level of sensibility towards risk taking and being able to recognize things and open secrets when others don't. I think this sort of model, it's quite hard for me to imagine in the next 5-10 years that this would be obsolete. But you could argue that there are many others that are far away from Kyle's style, and there are certain things that would be kind of made obsolete by AI, but in general, I think that the top performing VCs would be always have this sort of relying on this unique character within the firm that is driving, slamming the hammer and driving some contrarian decisions.
Thanks.
Yeah, replacement.
I hope I will not lose my job in such near future. I still got 3 kids to raise. So AI-driven tools can definitely help VCs by scanning on-chain data or social chatter to spot promising trends and things like that. But completely replacing human insights is tough. Evaluating teams, tokenomics, and overall economic alignment still needs human judgment. So I think AI will make some parts of the due diligence process more efficient, but it won't fully automate the decision making and stuff like that anytime soon.
Thanks. So it's going to make your work more efficient. Yeah. Ryan, please.
I would share like a very meaningful answer, but yeah, also like it's depending on the like how much data you can store from the founders. And let's say like maybe you can bring the analogy that like he graduated Peking University, he graduated Harvard University. Can you compare who can marry well, right? It's all about like human business and the founder, investor is kind of marriage, like building trust and everything. We like verify this founders are trustworthy and we check their former colleagues, and we are getting a more like information and data. But AI, definitely no, AI should be made by the data stored in the database. But we cannot store all the reference check and the human vibe quantitatively. But already we got a lot of supported by AI. For example, like market data or his past track record. You can bring a lot of data from past. That would be about maybe 50%. The other 50% would be more like kind of judgment from the instinct and vibe, everything. So I think AI cannot replace everything, but definitely it will be very helpful for the decision making.
Thank you. In the interest of time, we'll have the last question for the panel. Now, usually when I go to the Token 2049 events, the last question is, imagine this is the year of 2049, what's going to happen, right? I've answered that question so many times, but every time I'm sure I'm going to be old by that time, and Bitcoin is going to be $1 million, and I might work for an agent that hires me. Yeah, I'll do the off-chain work. Yeah, he'll do the management. But now let's don't go that far, right? Because we know that these technologies go very fast. Maybe in 5 years' time, there will be a whole new generation of AI and crypto products, right? So let's only talk about 5 years, which by that time we're still young. We're still all young. And then what new AI and crypto product would you foresee to come to the market? Maybe Ryan, let's start on your side.
Can you elaborate the question?
In 5 years' time, what new crypto and AI product would you envision to come to the market that's going to change the thing?
So, blockchain is always like tapping into the niche market first, I think. So, I think most like realistic approach for now, especially the decentralized AI ecosystem, they need to find the item which like mainstream AI industry is not tapping in. So, for example, right now, if like in the crypto market, if you want to make an LLM, which is already like very very vibrant in the Silicon Valley, now we want to make an LLM which is competitive with competing with OpenAI. I think that's not realistic. Just going to the maybe anime character AI or like maybe a gambling related AI. This is a kind of first step we can see in the market within 5 years. And over time, I think more use cases will come out, which is making revenue. I think especially a lot of use cases will come out from emerging market, rather like in major countries, because there's a lot of room to improve in the outdated infrastructure. So yeah, I think we'll see more cases there.
Thanks.
I think in 5 years, I expect the KML or where AI computations are proven valid without exposing raw data. And so to become mainstream, we'll also see agent ecosystem grow, where individual AI bots manage tasks like trading strategies, DAO voting, or even virtual world interactions via smart contracts. So Rachel just demonstrate the intent-centric trading, where you simply say swap 50 Ethereum to USDT at the best rate, and stuff like that. And you're gonna find the best routes, more efficient. So I think AI and crypto will work together to create a more efficient and user-friendly platforms across all sorts of use cases.
I think recently, since we've been having shift in market narrative every 3 months, in 5 years we will switch, we will go through 20 different mini cycles. So it's hard to go, there are many paths this can...
I should rephrase the question, 3 months.
So 5 years is 20 mini cycles, so that's maybe 20 years in regular industry when you have crypto, and if you do many random simulations and you have 20 different points, you would have so many different paths to the end result. But I think what is inevitable is that a lot of applications interaction point will be AI, and I think that's the most obvious insight, that websites are slowly being replaced by AI agents, and this would be greatly simplified. And the big elephant in the room for the whole crypto AI market is basically that crypto payments have still very limited adoption. So I think in 5 years, I'm hopeful that things can change in that way, and that stable coins can maybe even become legal tenders in many countries. And I think if that does happen, the TAM for crypto AI agents would become much larger, in a sense that they would be able to do all sorts of activities, and not only those specific to trading and speculation and on-chain financial risk management, but basically go into all sorts of different industries. And I think this would be this could be the biggest positive thing for crypto and AI, that crypto as a payment solution becomes much more broadly adopted.
Thanks.
Well, I think my thesis still remains in that clearly, to me, in the next 5 years, models are increasingly going to be commoditized, and using or the demand to inference or you query those models, the demand for that is going to increase. And with the cost going down continuously, there's just increasing demand to use AI and to service that inference. And I think crypto has a unique opportunity to potentially capture a portion of that market. So that's number one. And then number two, zero doubt in my mind that crypto rails are the best fit when it comes to financial tooling that agents are going to interact with, compared to traditional Web 2 antiquated tech. So that's my two crypto AI thesis.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. That will be the end of today's panel. Let's give an applause for the panelists for sharing in crypto AI, as well as how to make a happy marriage. Yeah. Thanks.